I was sitting in Mass 6 weeks ago. I don't know. And they read something from my friend Matt, and it made me think about it because right after I got invited to this thing, it made me think about it, right? And it was our Lord, and he said, somebody asked him about the Pharisees. He says, yeah, they sit in the seat of Moses, so you should do what they say, but don't follow their example. Oh, hey, Yoram, how you doing? But don't follow their example, right? Because they make burdens for men and don't help them, and they widen their phylacteries. I had to go look up what a phylactery was. And I thought to myself, nationalism, Catholicism. Think about it. If you're a Catholic, what you've been fed, what you have imbibed your whole life, been fed is the wrong word, you've imbibed your whole life a general sense that we should be detached from the world, right? Render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar, right? The letter from Peter's first letter, right? Follow your master, not just to the good, but to the froward, whatever froward might be. It's not good, though. Catholics are not political revolutionaries. We're just not, and that's fine, right? But what we are that matches up well with national conservatism, we do a couple of things very well that are going to be necessary, right? I'm going to pick up what Yoram laid down yesterday, right? Preservation and transmission. Preservation and transmission. Man, when you think about an institution on this planet that specializes in preservation and transmission of essential truths, you got to pick the Roman Catholic Church. It's what we do. It's what we do. And I also thought about it, preservation, transmission, and all different kinds of ways you preserve and transmit. Yesterday, as I'm certain we all know, because we all went to Mass, was, anybody want to give me a guess as to the feast? Father, you don't count. Anybody? Really? This is part of our problem, sport fans. No, that was the reading, but September 12th is, of course, has been for 300-odd years now in the church, the feast of the exaltation of the holy name of Mary. Right? That's a mouthful. Why is it there? Anybody? September 12th. I'm going to give you the year, 1683. Now, Anna knows. She knows right away. Vienna. Who said Vienna? Correct. That's right. Can you give me the name of the Polish king who saved everybody? John Sobieski. Who said that? Winner, chicken dinner. What? He said it too. You guys want to wrist wrestle for credit here? He's a little bit younger than you. He could probably take you. Speed.
His name is
John. I'm not going to get in a fight with Poles here. Sobieski, right? He had no particular affinity for the Viennese, but he understood their fight was his fight, right? Preservation, transmission, happens in all kinds of different ways. The other thing that the church is good at that we're going to need a lot of is metanoia. Metanoia, right? It's a Greek word. Everybody heard of it? Anybody not heard of it? I'm getting nods. Jesuits in the crowd, no doubt. Yeah. It's not conversion, right? It means literally expand your mind, right? Your sense of what's possible in the world. If you think about what ails the United States, it's what ails her citizens, right? We need some kind of metanoia. And we're not going to get a national metanoia. We don't get national metanoias. You get individual ones. And that's what the church is good at. So we're going to need some of that. So it's a symmetry there, too. Last thing I want to borrow from from Rocky Balboa, right? And what did Rocky always say? It's not how hard you hit. It's how hard you can get hit and get back up and keep moving forward, right? And we are all going to take hits. We all do take hits. We're all going to take more hits. You raise your hand, you're going to take it. You're going to, again, picking up what Yoram put down yesterday. You raise your hand, people are going to smack you around. You have to take the hit and move forward. And if you think about an institution on this planet that takes hits and moves forward consistently, all the time, it is the Roman Catholic Church, right? That whole gates of hell won't prevail against it. And I want to close with one story about that. We could talk about all the empires who litter the church's past, right? The Ottomans, for one, but Romans, the Soviets. But I want to talk about the Mexicans. In 1835, the Mexican government secularized the missions in California. Any Californians here? Yeah. You been to the missions? All of them? No. You don't want to lie to me, do you? I like that. How many have you been to? There are 16. I'll help you out. 5 or 6? What have you been doing with your life? All right, one of the missions, after the secularization of the missions, they all suffered, right? And the one that suffered the worst was Our Lady of Solitude, which is located in the middle of the center of California, in the middle of nowhere. It's an aptly named mission, right? And the priest who stayed and tended that parish, and I can't remember his name. I wish I could. I feel bad about that. He died in the middle of Mass one Sunday, starved to death, and he fell over dead, right? And the mission over time, the adobe basically melted back into the earth, most of it. Comes 1950, 1960, all these Irishmen from New York moved to California. They say, hey, we're gonna fix the missions up. Mostly Franciscan Irish priests. And that priest's grave is in the front yard of that rebuilt mission. And I stood out there when I did the missions, right? I did all the missions 4 or 5 years ago. I stood out there and I thought to myself, the Catholic Church is a remorseless enemy. It's a remorseless enemy. It never gives up. It always just keeps coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. Today, there's a church, right? It's in the Diocese of Monterey. And the Mexican government that try to suffocate that, long dead, unmourned, forgotten, nobody cares. So, we have a couple of things to think about. One is, we have a pretty good ally on our side, right? This little contest we're having, I'll close with this. We're having a contest with communist China, right? Who's going to win that, us or them? Who thinks us? Raise your hand. How do you want to define us? Let's do it this way. 100 years from now, who's going to be here? The Catholic Church or the communist Chinese? Who says the Catholic Church? Raise your hand. Who says the communist Chinese? Raise your hand. Really? Okay. See you in the party later. It's the same thing with the United States. The United States is going to be reformed. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure when, and I'm not sure by whom. But I'm sure it's going to be reformed. The only question is what are we going to do to make that happen? Right? Like I said, lousy political revolutionaries, but great at everything else that this fight entails and is going to require. So, thank you, Anna.